Alright, hi everybody. Sorry that this video cut out, so I am going to put this video in and you can just pick up where it leaves off and listen to the directions. Alright, so we have 6 over 10, and in order to get this into simplest form, I'm going to decide what it is divisible by. So we're going to divide both the top and the bottom by 2, and then we would get 3 over 5. All right, going on to the next one, we're writing the 45 over 100 because the 5 is in the hundredths place, so we put it over 100. And we can divide both 45 and 100 by 5, and I'm going to get 9 over 20. And I think that's in simplest form, so I don't need to go any farther than that. All right, I'm going to skip down to the bottom one. We have 375 thousandths. If you look, this is the tenths, hundredths, and thousands place, so we put it over 1,000. And I notice that 375 and 1,000 are both divisible by 25, so I divide them both by 25. Right, and when I divide them both by 25, I got 15 over 40, and I can divide those both by 5 again. So I'm going to divide both the top and the bottom by 5, and I would get 3/8. All right, going to the last one, we have a whole number and a decimal. So I have 9 and 85 hundredths. This is the tenth and then the hundredth spot. And 85 and 100, let's see what I chose to divide them by, 5. So 85 divided by 5 is 17, and 100 divided by 5 is 20. So I would have 17 over 20, and then do not forget your whole number, 9. So 9 and 17/20. All right, going down to the bottom, now we're going to write fractions and mixed numbers as decimals, and we're going to use 2 different methods to do this. So first method is to use an equivalent fraction. Just going to jump ahead a little bit. All right, so to use an equivalent fraction, you have to get a base number that is a multiple of 10. So 8 times 125 will give us 1,000, and then 5 times 125 will give us 625. Now it's just like the top, but in reverse, I have 625 over 1,000, or 625 thousandths. On the bottom, I have 9 and 2/5. I can take 5 and multiply that by 2. 5 times 2 is 10, and then 2 times 2 is 4. So I have 9 and 4/10, and then I can write that as a decimal, 9 and 4/10. This method, I would say, isn't super easy unless you can quickly see how to get it to a multiple of 10. Like the top one was a little bit harder, the bottom one was super simple, right? Because 5 times 2 is 10, and we can get there quickly. The other method would be to divide a fraction. The line in a fraction just means to divide. So if I have 5 divided by 8, 5 is my dividend on the inside, and then 8 is on the outside. I have to place a decimal because 8 doesn't go into 5, so I place the decimal and put a 0. Now I have to ask myself, how many times does 8 go into 50? Off the top of my head, 8 times 8 is 64. That's too big. So 6 times 8 is 48. We put the 6 on the top. 6 times 8 is 48. We subtract with the 2, bring down another 0. 8 times 2 gives me 16. And then I take 20 minus 16, and I get 4. I still have a remainder, so I have to go and bring down another 0. 8 times 5 is 40. So I would get 600. I'm going to go back a little bit there, sorry. All right, so 8 times 5 is 40. 8 times 5 is 40 right here. and then we would be left with nothing, so that's how we know we can stop. So 625 thousandths. All right, let's try this method with the bottom. So we're going to do 2 divided by 5. 2 goes on the inside, 5 goes on the outside. I place my decimal with a 0, and I ask myself 5 times what gives me 20? And 5 times 4 gives me 20, and the 4 has to be placed right above the 0, and we bring the decimal straight up. So 5 goes into 20 4 times, bring the decimal straight up. And there's no remainder, so we already found it, 4/10. All right, thanks for listening.